Well then, let's get started. Eric's pulled everything up on here as far as the agenda, so we will start with the roll call. Who wants to go around and acknowledge that they are here?
John Evans, Aaron McConnell,
Jesse Roper,
Robert Sossman.
Jordan Jones.
Teresa Wakefield.
And the only member missing tonight is Laurelyn Bachman. Everybody else here, thank you all for being here. It'd be wonderful if we could all be here, but that's okay. Thank you to the new members. Jesse, your second meeting.
Yeah.
Aaron for coming first time.
Yeah.
Got a little time in the last meeting virtual to introduce yourself. Anything else you'd like to say? I know you have some fantastic experience. If you want to elaborate.
Yeah, I graduated from Central Michigan University with a community recreation park administration degree. Worked in parks prior to that for about 4 years. And pretty much immediately saw paychecks and got out of Parks and Recreation. And so, I've always wanted to get back involved in it. That was my young career choice was I'm gonna be the director of parks someplace. I thought your job was the coolest job in the world, which it is pretty cool. So I actually went to work for Gus Macker basketball after that, which is more commercial recreation. And I was a tournament director around the country, running 3-on-3 basketball tournaments. And so I love that. And then there was more money in sales. I got into sales and I've been in construction sales, and now I'm the district sales manager for Wayne Dalton Garage Doors. So I'm a manufacturer's rep. I call on dealers in Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. I'm married. My 1-year anniversary is coming up. My 50th birthday is coming up the same week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Big week.
it's gonna be a big week, the last week of January, so.
What else do you need to add, Aaron?
I've got twin 14-year-old stepkids. I've got a 23-year-old daughter back in Michigan who's a special ed teacher, very proud of her. I play pickleball with Teresa.
There we go. That's where you're looking at.
So
waiting
no,
for pickleball.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. And as Laurelyn said last time, we're very excited to have a full board for the first time since I've been here.
Yeah.
A full present active board, I should say.
Yeah.
So thank you all. Appreciate you.
Right on.
A lot of good things ahead. All right, so did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes? I know we tabled the minutes from November at the last meeting, and if you all had a chance, those who were present and active at that time have a chance to look at the minutes.
Yep.
So does someone want to make a motion for November 8th? Or any changes, I should say.
No changes. I feel I can't remember how to even say it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from November 8th, 2023 and December 13th, 2023.
I will second that motion. To approve the minutes.
All right,
All approve?
all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, make it be known that the minutes were approved. Okay, on to our discussion action items. So the first one, I would like to introduce our new assistant recreation coordinator, Emma Adams.
Hello.
Hi, Emma.
Would you like to say something about yourself?
Sure. Second week, this week. I'm originally from Oklahoma, and then I went to college at UW in Wyoming. And then we moved back to the Fort Collins area a couple of years ago now. I'm really excited to start, and Eric's been giving me this is your job and this is the flow. Most of my background is in outdoor rec, so I'm really experienced mainly in the outdoors and doing more extreme recreation activities, and pretty excited to see more tangible and accessible recreation and see how that's catered to local communities. And outdoor rec's pretty, in a way, exclusive, and I'm pretty excited to see how it's nice to be involved with the community, so pretty excited to be in Wellington and learning about volleyball and basketball and stuff, because I know nothing about the rules, but it'll be fun to, I guess, engage with the community, so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and Emma has a great background in customer service and leadership, as well as, like she said, recreation. And she's taking very well to all the things that we're throwing her way right
Thanks.
now, since we're a little bit, I would say a little bit slower on the recreation side, though we are starting programming coming up, actually this week with volleyball, adult volleyball and youth volleyball and indoor pickleball. So we're getting her into all that before spring season hits and we have a full flow.
So, nice to meet you all.
Welcome here.
Yeah. All right, so let's go on to B, adult tournaments. I believe this was a request from you, Teresa, to be put on here, just to ask a little bit about what we can do more for, I would assume some of it would be like adult pickleball tournaments or just in general adult tournaments.
Yeah, because I think we have a lot of stuff
So
for like the
discussion.
kiddos and everything like that, but I would love to see more adult programs come in as far as I think tournaments could bring in a lot of revenue into the city. I think it could bring a lot of interest and just, I don't know, just be a lot of fun for a lot of people, so.
Yeah, currently, and I believe the only adult tournament we do is our softball tournament, which is kind of in coordination with our softball league, but we do have other teams that sometimes would enter, and we're gonna try to open that up to more teams. Well, I love ideas based on this. I think pickleball is definitely something we could do because right now, especially in the summer, we don't really have any program for pickleball. It's more just open and the groups in town utilize that space. But if we wanted to look further into actually programming, originally when we had talked, or I had talked with the few groups in town, sounded like a league was not necessary, but maybe a tournament. Now that you're saying, is that something that would interest that
I think
group?
the tournament would be great, and just speaking pickleball, just because that's
Sure.
what I'm interested in, it would be really super fun to maybe like do either one or two of those throughout the summer, because that brings in new people. It also it also builds the community, and it's I don't know, we have talked before about like insurance and like the cost of those or whatever, so I don't know what that exactly would be, but I think that people would be willing, and then if we also had a tournament or maybe incorporate lessons into that, like maybe bring a pro up or something like that and be able to incorporate that either essentially in the tournament in a way, like have a lesson and then do like a tournament. I mean, obviously it's an amateur type of tournament, right? But it'd be really fun. It'd be super fun. And then bring like, I don't know, and this could go for any type of sporting event if you were to have one. I don't know if you guys do it for like the softball, but bring in like maybe a coffee truck or just maybe one or two food trucks or whatever, and just make it a all day event. I think you'd have people from all over northern Colorado come, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So
And
it'd be cool.
Yeah.
And as far as, someone doing lessons, we do that with certain sports. They're contracted.
Okay.
We do it for tennis during the summer, but
Right,
adding that with, pickleball lessons, whether it was something that the participants would sign up for an extended period, like once a week with a
Right.
professional, or if we did it, as a group over the weekend and then afterwards did a tournament. All
Yeah,
those are
I mean,
fantastic ideas.
that'd be great. It'd be super, and like I said, you could incorporate that with any sport. You could do that because you've got people who love,
Right.
basketball, whether it be basketball, soccer, baseball, pickleball, whatever.
Okay.
It'd be cool.
I agree. We did try to run the basketball program this winter. It didn't pick up, which
It
was
didn't.
kind of a bummer. We
Yeah.
had a few interested teams, but I think, there are a lot of advocates in our community for pickleball, and there are groups that get together and play because we have the facility. It's a little harder with basketball because we have to rent our facilities through PSD. So getting that in advance and getting the
It's hard.
groups to play before and kind of build
Right.
that base of people is a little more difficult
Okay.
there. Not to say we can't do it.
Right.
We do have outdoor basketball
Right.
facilities as well that we could start to do that at.
Okay.
I could see that being a huge bonus if
Be
we
awesome.
move forward with the as we'll talk about in a little bit, the viewpoint sport court or multi-use
Mm.
court, if we want to move forward with that as a project, that would be a refurbished facility, but it would feel like a new one where we
Right.
would have the ability to run 3 pickleballs or 2 basketballs on a newer court and bring the food trucks to Viewpoint, which is a fantastic open-ish
Yeah.
area. So
Mhm.
I think thinking about adult tournaments and programming in our recreation and expanding that goes hand in hand with the projects we're trying to do, like the
Absolutely.
addition of, or the redo of the court there.
Right.
So if we do expand that space to be able to use multiple different activities in one space, we can definitely start to program it better. And I do agree too that we do have a lot for youth, and a lot of that goes with I mean, maybe you can speak a little bit more on the recreation side, but when we get to a certain point, at least for the youth, a lot of them start playing the middle school and high school sports.
Okay.
And in the small community that we have, if we try to run programs, it's like we're running it with a team and a half or 2 teams.
Mhm.
So there is a balance because we don't want to leave
Right.
anybody out. We've had conversations about how do we bring those kids that are either filtering through, don't want to play there, don't feel comfortable playing there, or just want to play, more of a recreation style than a high school or middle school style.
Right.
And then on the adult side, we definitely still need to improve our programming as far as, getting things that are scheduled rather than the open play that we offer at the facilities that we have.
Because that's good, but it's hard too.
Yeah.
For many reasons, but whatever, we don't need to get into that tonight, but
Yeah.
anyway, so, yeah.
I love the idea. I think it's something that internally to recreation, we can start to build, especially when we do improve our facilities.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yay,
so
thank you.
that's one of the things where, an idea pops in, shoot an email, because we'll always try to, produce for what the community is asking.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion about timing of it? Because I'm super interested and I've never played pickleball, but I'm traveling a lot over the summer. I wonder if doing like a late spring and an early fall, like doing 2 tournaments where. you
Yeah,
could,
I don't think
you
that
know,
would be an issue except for like weather. Weather is the
Sure.
biggest element that we would be dealing with
Yeah.
and making sure that, I mean, but I mean, honestly, that could be hit and miss whatever
in the
time of
summer
year,
too,
so,
right?
I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have any issues
It's- yeah,
with
just
trying
a
to do it at
suggestion.
certain times of the year or whatever. My only, I guess, concern would be is like for, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm thinking like schedules for like, people vacations or kids or whatever, that type of thing. I think that should be taken into consideration a little bit when we're finding time
Yeah.
or like a date or whatever.
And what we started to do, at least with the pickleball indoor,
Mhm.
and other programs, like what we tried to do with basketball is just really reach out, but also kind of started as a pilot. So maybe we wouldn't say, hey, let's shoot for 3 or shoot for 2. Let's just say, if we really consider that idea now, we look forward to that late summer / early fall,
Mhm.
see how it goes this year.
Yeah.
See where we can do better, whether it's bringing in more vendors or putting it out to different communities, how we do that,
Right.
and then next year we look for a spring one or a summer one or 2 summer ones, or however we feel, but like just do a more of a pilot program.
Sure.
See if it sticks and then where we can improve.
I love it. It's a
Yeah, it's a great idea. Come play
Yeah,
pickleball with us.
I would love to.
We all should go play
We
pickleball.
You should.
That's why we play pickleball.
That is very
It's fun.
true. I do play tennis.
You would be really good at pickleball.
Those long rackets.
He's okay.
He's okay.
The pickleball lessons though, that would be awesome.
I-
And even if
I-
they're just over a weekend, like you said.
And that's the other thing too. It
Find
doesn't
weeks
necessarily
out.
have to be like a tournament, but you could
A clinic,
advertise like
I
a
guess.
clinic.
Clinic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which would be awesome.
Yeah. And
Because so many people, I really think you'd have a
So
ton of
many
interest.
people are in the same boat is what you just said. I mean,
Yeah.
I was interested for years about playing until I
Mhm.
finally got the guts to go to the court and just say, can I play? I don't know squat. I got a racket.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
once you get and the crowd is so welcoming. I mean,
Yes,
it's,
that's what
I mean, you've been there.
yeah, I showed up and I like just had
It's like,
shoes
hey,
on.
come
Like, I
on.
don't know what to do. Like 5 people offered me their paddles and then they I was ushered straight onto the court. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. They're like, it's
Shall play now.
Yep.
It was awesome.
It's a
Yeah.
good group of people. You got a good base around here of
Yeah.
people that.
it is. It really is, and I would love to see that type of energy being brought to tennis, to basketball, you know, all the other sports that we do have some amenities for. And then, you know, pushing it off into other things like getting involved with multiple events, a skate park event and a basketball or skate park pickleball. I don't know how that would work. It's
Yeah.
like our facilities don't
Loudest
align,
things you can come
but
up with.
Yeah.
yeah, but when you get people together,
That's good.
and that's what it's all about, right? Is getting people in the same space and having excitement,
Mhm.
generating that foot traffic. Okay, definitely something we'll mark for our recreation and have internal conversations about how we can do things for all sports. We just know where some of the champions are, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have lots of volunteers.
Lots.
Speaking of volunteer,
We should all play doubles.
yeah, everybody here
I
will
do
play
still
bubble
wanna
soccer.
do
Let's
that.
do it.
I'm a little scared.
Bubble soccer.
I have good insurance this year.
Stop saying that.
Yeah, that's too bad. That was so
It's a lot of
fun.
fun.
It was right behind our house. We were like, what's going on over there? We went, we cracked. It was the funniest
It's
thing
fun
I've
for
ever
people
seen.
watching. You don't even have to play. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's super fun. Yeah.
Maybe before our next field trip, get all suited up.
No, you definitely want it after.
After, yeah,
Otherwise
you don't want
would
to sit on the bus or.
Otherwise you would change.
Okay, we will mark that and move on to, kind of what the budget impacts are. Really, I put project voting on here. I'll be honest, at the time that I made this, I wasn't sure if Laurelyn was coming. So I think when I put voting on there, I was hoping that maybe we could have a vote on what we really wanted to, nail down what the group wants me to focus on with that budget that we got, so I can then get everything set and present it to the Board of Trustees for the finalized funding. I think what would be good, is that the whole packet or is that just? Okay. Is for everybody to just kind of take a look at what our past, so this is kind of the past wish list or accomplishments, projects we were working on 2022, 2023. I kind of just want a generalized conversation of where everybody's thoughts are on all the stuff we've presented, all the things we've talked about. So on that list would be the multi-use court over at Viewpoint, redoing the surface and getting different activities that we can do in there. I presented the two different options for basketball and pickleball, or the 3-option one where it's basketball, forgive me, futsal, and the 3 pickleball courts. So there's more options where we could still, you know, draw in the lines for basketball if we did want to do a basketball tournament. So there's that project. The disc golf club came in, so we can, you know, think about looking in that direction and working with them on a redo of the course. Now, I will say that if we were going to try to use some of the areas that aren't the course now, it might take a little bit more than we have this year, but focusing on it this year with the opportunity to fund that next year is something that this group needs to decide if they want to put time and effort into. We have the bike fix stations, if we want to keep investing into those. I know that was, you know, we got the one, still isn't in yet, but we're looking to get up to 5, if not 6 of those.
Updating doggo station.
Updating the dog waste stations. I know, so this one we can basically mark off because regardless of whether we get a grant or not, the ADA docks are in the capital improvement project, so that one we can, I mean, the project isn't done, but this year we shouldn't have to focus too much effort onto it. Once that, you know, the biggest thing will just be the timing of it and getting it installed, but most of that now that we've kind of worked through the back end process will just be on myself and the grant writer at the town getting that grant or not, and then moving forward with the project outside of that.
Awesome.
Yep, that's Viewpoint, pickleball court. Investing more, we always talk about investing more into the skate park.
Yeah, I would really like to finish the north side of the park, that gap,
Yeah, that's there.
yep, that gap.
And
cleaned up and fixed up.
just while we're on that note, I will say there is some concrete heaving over there, right where the concrete kind of goes into the asphalt of the basketball court, because that stretches. You know, it's hard to describe if we're not there, but the walk that goes on the north side,
Mhm.
that has that gap in it that was mulch for a little while and
Yeah.
now kind of up in the air. That east-west walk does run into the asphalt and then kind of jogs towards the Public Works facility and then over towards the pavilion.
Yeah,
And there is some heaval there, but that is part of something that I'm working on. It was a request from our insurance company for accessibility, so I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but we will be working on that. I'm just kind of throwing that out there as something
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
something that
it's pretty beat up.
we're walking on. It is pretty beat up.
Yeah, so-
But yeah, sorry, continue with the north side. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I would like to finish and clean up that north side and then, kind of. Just as much of that area as possible, so definitely the north side, and then if not, turn the corner. At least so we can get, maybe everything that's. The fence area would be it's, especially on the. Southwest side of the ramp and stuff, because I mean, it's kind of just a. No man's land, nothing over there, but at least get that north side completed, that'd be great.
Do you have any idea of projections for what it looks like? 'Cause it-
We've talked about a few different things, but I think. No, I don't. I mean, I got a million ideas, but since we run into the sidewalk. We have a little bit of an issue on how to. I think probably what we'll end up having to do is put up some kind of small retaining wall. So it is.
Cause they're different heights, right?
Because they're different heights, so we can't just go right up to it. But we could make, if we did a retaining wall, that would separate it. So it's just a sidewalk. It's just a skate park, you can't. Walk over it necessarily, you can't trip over it. 'Cause it
Or
would be-
skate into the side, like you're saying from both sides?
It'll be used both sides, it will be, I mean, it's inevitable, but it wouldn't be. We could build it so there is an actual entrance to the park. So there is. a
That'd be
10 foot
nice.
Wide entrance, like welcoming way in there. And then that could be sloped, or we could make sure we do that at the correct ADA. Travel or whatever it is, a 1/4 inch and a foot or something like that, so the slope is correct to get in there. Maybe we wouldn't have to worry about that. All the way through.
Okay,
So a little bit. Taking that into consideration, yeah, but I think we should put up something, like a knee wall or knee-high wall, something like that for. To separate the two.
yeah. And in your opinion, where that barrier is, would it be, I mean, if we wall it one, but should we consider concreting it all so there isn't that gap?
Yeah, oh yeah, it
Right.
should all be concrete, for sure, it should be just concrete, straight, level all the way through, I mean, I would like to do all kinds of stuff, so. I have to think about it, I guess, and how to really do it, but. I'll think about
So, other project to consider.
it, so, I mean, we can, and probably do it, probably the same way we've been doing all the others. Pretty much just in the same fashion.
Yeah.
Just seems to be working well. Should be able to do it reasonably.
And for the members who haven't seen any of that, you want to just kind of describe?
Sure,
how
have you
you
guys
do
been
it.
past the skate park?
Yeah.
We've seen the concrete, angle. So, for the last 3 years, I've been working with the town. And we've been in, so my group, we go by Skatewell. So it's been a group and it's just, my friend Patrick and a few other skaters from Fort Collins and stuff, and we've been just DIY in the skate park, and, the town's been, grateful enough to give us money towards materials, and then we've been providing all the labor and that, and then, this last time we fundraised 1,200 or something like that, so we were able to bring some money in as well. And then, yeah, we've just been piecemealing the park together as been going on for the last 3 years, so. It's been huge. I mean, it's
That's great.
made a huge difference to the overall look of the park and. And I think just the whole field, the whole area has been really receptive from the town. I think it's been great, so.
Yeah,
Just
holding
kinda-
events there.
Yep, yeah, we hold, at least 2 or 3 events there each year. bring in all kinds of different people. We, group with, American Legion of the 4th of July. So we did, that's 2 years in a row now that we did that with them. So when they do their pancake breakfast and their beer garden and all that stuff, they like us to come down and do some stuff. And then, they had a food truck rally in October, was it? I think it was October, so yeah.
The
We
make-
got
make-
invited, yeah, we got invited to do an event there. So kind of seems like most of the things that Centennial like us to come in and kind of give that area some life. And they have stuff going on down there, so it's been awesome, a lot of fun, so. I'd like to get that last bit of dirt cleaned up there. I think it would be huge, huge.
I would like to imagine if there was a community group that adopted every part of every park and was working on developing it independently, like how amazing would that be?
Yeah, that's,
Right?
that is,
How
that's like
amazing would
my
that be?
goal, my big dream would be to there, like, we just talked about the disc golf guys, I'm like, just give them a little bit, don't give them much, just give them just like,
Yeah.
just, dangle the carrot, and
Keep
make
rubbing
it work
back.
for it. I mean, it's so gratifying and it feels so good. And the group that you grow with it, it's just so much, it's awesome, I mean, you talk about the pickleball community,
Mhm.
it's kind of like the same, we have like this
Sure.
very similar thing going on.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
it. And, it's really nice to have, so. Trying to generate that more with different groups and stuff, so I'm kind of excited about the disc golf guys, I think they're gonna be another group of. That will get their hands dirty and kind of make their area. Really awesome if we kind of
Yeah.
give them the opportunity, because it's hard, it was really hard 3 years to get. To get going and to figure it out and then do it, and. I got on the board.
Yeah, I had to join.
You had to join the board, everything. It's like, it's what it took, to join the board, to really get in there and be like, I'm being here every month, so you might as well, someone's gonna listen. It wasn't hard at all, it really wasn't. It wasn't. That's what's my plan, it's like, all right, keep going, yeah, it's awesome, so.
I mean, you've also done a really good job of partnering with other events too, it's not just like, hey, I'm here for skate only.
Yeah,
Right,
no, yeah,
so-
no, yeah, I mean, everybody's got their passion, right? It just
Yeah.
starts there, but it really, I'm super excited to help with pickleball and everything else. And then I don't even play disc golf, I don't. But I'm just excited for those guys to see them push into the weeds and find out.
Yeah.
It's like,
Real passion.
they would like to,
Yeah.
they would like to make some cooler stuff out there and change it up, so just. Give them a little bit of some options and then see where they can grow and. Go with it, Come down here to more of these meetings and get it going even
Right.
more, because
Mhm.
they could bring in huge tournaments too. I mean, they could, there's
Absolutely.
all kinds of stuff with
Well,
that.
and there used to be a tournament and they were considering doing it here, but it's just. The way the course was, and I don't know, that might have really started them thinking about reinvesting into here rather than at Budweiser.
Yeah.
And really thinking about how
Mhm.
they would like to bring, because there's, not that much commerce right there.
Yeah,
They have a huge community, like in the tournaments that they do at
Oh, they're
Budweiser,
huge.
that's huge, there are so many people.
And we would rather have those people
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
exactly.
this way for sure.
yeah. So I think that would, definitely could play hand in hand with them this year, is get their businesses going and keep everything coming. Build their courses and. I would think they'd have all kinds of stuff they could do out there. So. Be fun to. Get going. Yeah, I'll think about skate park stuff. Is there anybody? Like we've talked briefly about the ADA and is that what Town Works? Like who should,
Public Works
Public Works, who should,
for ADA compliance?
yeah, like how to get, like what? What can you build next to a sidewalk? Like who knows that kind of thing?
It's a tough one. We do
One of
have,
the reasons that part's not finished yet.
yeah, probably is, I think that's something we can talk to our insurance company about, as well as we have, 2 persons on staff that are ADA compliance representatives
In trainings.
and
In
training,
I mean, there
thank
used to
you.
be a
in-
giant
in-
12-foot
I think
fence
they
there.
did training.
Oh, they
So
did
I
training.
Don't know why you couldn't put another fence thing there, we just don't want people tripping and falling down.
Sure,
So, but I don't know what,
okay,
I'd say that'd be a great question for Stephanie and Kelly.
yep,
like what could go there, just. I mean, it can make anything skatable and accessible, so it's just like, You can put a 2-foot wall, you can put a 3-foot tall wall, don't need a wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just. Heck, another ramp up against it, you know, I mean, there's.
Definitely a question that I can
Yeah.
seek the answers to.
Yeah, I don't. You'd skate anything, just need to figure out how to. What would you put there?
I'm sure you can. Yeah, so those are kind of the main projects that we have looked at, and
Sorry, the big screen, the mobile
Yep.
screen.
so that didn't fall within what we could do last year. It was an ask and it just didn't roll in from last year. I am trying to figure out, since that money wasn't all spent, where we can, if we do roll it over, what that looks like moving into this year. It's still something that I would absolutely love to pursue. I think the passion from the community that they want events like that, they want gathering, and it's definitely something that the board of trustees put out there, like gathering spaces is a very important thing for us, improving them, enhancing them, finding new avenues to bring people together in our community, and that's something that the community then said, let's do this, and it falls in line with all that. So I would still like to be on board with that project, even though we didn't get it with the available funds last year. It's something definitely that when we do vote on things moving forward, or even this year, I would like to, so I can, what I'll try to do as far as, say, voting, or really just you guys saying, yeah, that's where we want to focus our energy on. I'll take that list that we have from previous, and then anything anybody wants to discuss that they've thought of, that projects, you know, because this is where all these inspirations come from. It's a simple thing that either turns bigger, or it's just an amazing little thing that we can do that makes a big impact. Anything we take from this meeting and everything from the past, I'll compile it, and then next month we can actually do some real voting. Well, here, and then that gives strong direction for our department to move forward with funding. Does that sound okay?
Are the wish lists in here, the latest versions of the wish list?
That book.
Or,
Oh, in there?
yeah, or
Mm.
available?
Yeah, let's,
I mean, not right now, but I mean, that would be
You can
helpful
find
for,
it, but-
oh,
Yeah, I'm trying to.
when you guys are voting for projects, or see what this board has put together over years and years and years of an
Right.
evolving.
So
wish
are we
list.
gonna do something similar to, like what we did last year, small ones, the ones that we can obtain and get to, and then, you know, a couple bigger ones?
Yep. If that's the direction, or we take a large swing, because for me, I would say that WCP Memorial is outside of what we're trying to do here, because that's more the grassroots, and we're trying to eventually get as much funding for that as possible. So if we
Yeah, I
get to a
agree.
place where we have to potentially use some of that money, that's maybe okay, but I think we're trying to do it without that, so
Mhm.
I
This
would
would
agree
be-
with that.
other projects we're trying to.
I have a question, Billy. You had brought up the screen, like the movie screen thing. I don't know for anybody who's been in Wellington a while, but fireworks, wasn't there a screen at one time,
Yep.
like with music?
It's
Is that
every year
right?
it's rented just for the fireworks, and it
gotcha,
goes
okay.
along with the whole fireworks contract with the production.
Okay,
That they do the video and the music and all that stuff. is
good to
with-
know.
with
I
the
just didn't know if that
fireworks.
was something that the city had owned or, and I,
Unfortunately not, and we actually looked into how that would, you know, if we purchased a screen, could we
Right.
remove that from the contract? But that screen's like 65 feet. So it's nothing that we would be able to, I mean, you guys saw the budget for.
right,
the-
right, I know.
The ones that we were considering that would, you know, a couple hundred people could see, that screen is massive, so. We could potentially use it as like a secondary, you know, to broadcast something similar, or. Like I said before, if we ever do concerts and stuff like that, we could use it as a broadcasting screen
Hmm.
for people who aren't looking to be right up front, but also looking to be at the event.
Yeah.
More on the adaptive side.
Okay.
Is there any interest in the dog park? Because those are also my people for a little while, but they disappeared. The dog park people. Are they still coming around or something?
Yeah, so I mean, it's always been a push since when I was on the board, is the dog park on the east side.
Mhm.
So if that's a project we're interested in,
It's just the same one.
Yeah, so that's the only one that I found. I don't know where the actual wish list is located. I did have a conversation with the Director of Public Works just on what it would look like if we were to try to do a dog park in the unused area at Wellville.
Mhm.
So at Wellville, we have, it's the park across on the east side. That has the two ponds there. If you guys have been there, I'm sure most of you have. If you haven't, we can talk about this in more depth, but there's a baseball field, which we don't program because technically there's no irrigation in the outfield. Able to use it if they want to do practices or whatever, we just don't program it. We're trying to rehab that because it's been overgrown over the last few years. We started that project 2 weeks ago to rehab that so it's more
Cool.
usable. But there is a,
Sorry, I just.
you're good.
I got one.
There we go. The drainage, the drain pan kind of bisects that whole area, and it's a pretty large area, but it is native and weeds, unirrigated. I talked to the Director of Public Works, and he said there really wouldn't be, as long as it's not a permanent structure, anything that's impeding water flow. We potentially on the north side of that could put and do fencing for a dog park to be over there.
Really?
And I semi-priced it out very, very preliminarily, and it's something that we could, if we wanted to move forward that project, definitely could do. It would be something for sure that we could do all in-house. We wouldn't probably need to contract it. We'd just get Public Works and the Parks Department to cooperate, hopefully. If we could figure out scheduling on post-holing it and building a fence, and then just putting up the general regulations that we have for dog parks. It's definitely something that seems feasible now, and I know that the people on the east side would
People would
really
go crazy.
enjoy that.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest limitation that we would need to think about, but it might fall in coordination with changing the disc golf course up, is they do go directly over that area because there is a tee box on the northeast corner that shoots over there. Now I know when they came in and presented, they were worried about that hole anyways because stray discs do go into the parking lot.
Mhm.
So that was kind of part of their redo, is either changing the area of that hole or just removing it. Because kids do play down there. We do have people in the parking lot. It is a thoroughfare for people coming off the trail and into the neighborhood. So they had addressed that as part of their redo anyways. So that's kind of what got me thinking of that space, because it's perfect for dogs to run around in. Basically, all we'd have to do is put a fence up and start just putting native seed in there so it wasn't more overgrown with weeds.
Does
cleaning up
that,
trash.
or like on the north side, is that private residential? And are there any like things about putting dog parks around residential backyards or whatever?
There's a road separation though.
Yeah,
Is there? a-
yeah,
I
but
believe it's in
Okay.
Lee.
Okay.
it's all
I was thinking that-
contained there.
okay.
It's really not much, wouldn't be any more different than the WCP where there's a road that goes
Yeah.
into the residential across Buffalo Creek, where
Okay.
the dog park is there.
Got it.
Obviously, we'd have to do it the right way,
Yeah.
figure out if we want double entrances like they do at WCP, the small dog park for the shy dogs, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
We wouldn't be able to provide water access because we don't have domestic water over there, so we wouldn't be
Mm.
able to provide a fountain or anything like that, but that's just something that the public would need to know, whereas it was designed at Wellington Community Park to have the fountain in there.
Mhm.
But I think adding an amenity would be something that we should consider.
Yeah, all those condos over there, that's who I hear from all the time, so,
Oh, yeah, oh, dude, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be.
yeah.
All on board.
Good.
Yeah.
Four
I
dogs in a
think-
puddle.
I think so,
That
too.
was like-
I think it's that-
that was the
I don't know, a lot of momentum with community members.
Yeah.
Like, do the dog park, that's really huge, and then it's like, okay, let's move forward with something else now, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of sad though, because people kind of just, they give up asking, that's when those kind of scenarios happen. I think they still
Oh,
want
it
it
does
just
say,
as much as
Park
ever,
Meadows
but.
says dog park.
But I know a few people living in those,
Yeah,
and they're like,
Oh.
It's good.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
You want people to be passionate about it, I can make a couple calls, we'll be here in 5 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
We know, we get the calls about it too.
yeah, very sure. That's my whole thing of the carrot thing is you just gotta get people, there's been nothing happening for so long that. You said people just get, it's just hard to
Yeah.
get like,
They're busy living.
yeah, and they're like, ah,
Yeah,
so yeah, once.
but I like the people that are passionate about having a dog park, you know, because they're wanting to take their dog legally into a space that we
Yes.
provide. They're just asking for that amenity so they can do it, you know,
I think it's great.
so. Okay. We'll certainly add that to the list and, we'll get this, all the stuff that we've discussed out. So we can look at it and then come prepared to the next meeting, give you enough
All
time.
of it, huh? Okay.
Yeah, we only found it in PDF, so, but we'll,
Yeah, I like those exercise stations too. I thought that was a good one. Like, I think that could be an easy win.
the trail
Right.
exercise
Yeah,
stations.
trail exercise, start something, don't have to go elaborate with them, but something kind of in between the bike stations, if we have like,
Or in coordination, like around them,
or around them,
There's
yeah.
gotta be tons of
someone need
grants
them.
for something like that too.
there are.
I'm sure.
For the bike stations, I don't know if I'm confused, but that's already in the funding. Have we already bought them?
One,
One,
it's
So-
like a trial one that we're gonna do over at Wellville.
okay,
But we
so
had talked about
having up to
having-
5.
up to 5 or 6 or however many, and then just continually expanding it as our trails
Okay,
hopefully expand in the years to come.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's where this group comes in, like, hey, we got the one, let's just do 3, 1 on the east side, 1 centrally located, 1 north located, just
yeah,
see how that rolls for a year and then reinvest into funding rather than putting 6 of them out there now, we can. it's funding
that's why I was
somewhere
asking,
else.
because I was thinking maybe some of that funding, because I was under the impression that we had already
Mhm.
purchased all those, so yeah, that would be my vote. Let's put 1 or 2 out, maybe 3, see how it goes, keep that funding for maybe, I mean, if they get used, great, if they don't, then maybe reassess what we're doing or whatever.
Yeah, and that's good discussion, that
How do
all.
we track utilization of those? Like,
Good question.
That is a good question.
I would say not vandalized.
True.
They're vandalized
Don't say
over
it.
there.
That's a major issue, that's a big concern.
Some
though.
of it
That's a
too
big-
is like if people complain about something not working right, truly,
Like a
like when they
tool.
call us and like, hey, there's a tool missing. Well, we know somebody's using it.
We could always put a little QR code up on the side, say, if you use this, please scan this
Mm.
and link it to something.
that's cool.
That's a good idea. It is fulfill your needs.
Probably track scheme.
Can you try to scan that?
I'm sure we can find a way.
Or scan to,
Like it could scan to a survey,
A
but I
Google
think you
survey,
can
yeah.
count, I think you can count like how many people go to it, just like click some email.
we typically use the trail marks, beepers or whatever. but
Mm.
Oh,
Oh, we
the
don't
gas
have-
station
They
thing.
expanded that, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Depending on how they look, at least my experience with the bike stations is a lot of them are like on a really heavy duty cable, every single tool, and they usually have their own spot to put them back onto the full station. So like when you're like going to check the pumps, cause usually that's what goes out the most. You basically can just be like, oh, I went to the station and like half of these tools are just dangling versus being put back where they are, and then that kind of gives you an indication of like, there's been somebody using like a multi.
That's good. So
Uh,
for staff to do when we do our
Yeah, like
checks,
you could
just
do
to
like
know.
a weekly check of
Good
like,
call.
nothing's where it could go, where it should be. But in my experience, usually the pump is what goes out the most, so then with the QR code, you can just be like, oh, the pump's out again. Because they're always go out, so then you can go by and just be like, well, someone's using the pump clearly.
mhm. That's good.
Good idea.
Excellent.
I know bikes.
Got that one.
So I guess I'm looking at this list and there's a lot of good stuff on it. The climbing structure with the ropes. I forgot about that one too.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of money we playing with? What are we talking about?
Have you seen the budget?
I haven't looked at it. I don't know. I haven't looked at
I think we do what we've done in the past, like you said, two to three smaller projects, one medium sized and then a large that's more that we're focusing on for the future. I don't know if we do the large one now until we're a little further on with the WCP thing, because that's gonna take a lot of the focus once we get that up and going, is the large project. But that's where it's up for discussion, you know,
I
that's
think
where
the
you
fence
guys
is a
get
lot, I
to
think the
bring
fence
your.
is a large project. I would say a medium project, maybe not cost, but like volunteer wise, that would. take-
Fence,
The dog park?
building dog.
Yeah.
Large impact, that's for
Yeah,
sure. I think
yeah.
that would be a
It's
huge
huge.
impact.
It's huge. I think that's a
Um,
huge one that could,
And honestly, as far as like overall cost, if you're thinking about like putting a playground structure in versus a dog park, you're looking at very minimal cost comparatively, you
Yeah,
know, and
sure.
the impact is gonna be for
yeah.
a very large population over there.
Yeah.
Especially considering we have potential new development going on over there, so we're just expanding the user group over there.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a big one.
I do too, I
I would
agree.
definitely go for
Big,
that.
big one.
Just make me think if we should build in development agreements, that have to have dog parks for any multifamily. Or medium or high density. Sorry, thinking,
But you're good, that,
Yeah, it's not a bad.
that
idea.
reduces the amount of use that we get.
yeah, and developers too.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one when we're talking about anyways.
Hmm.
I'm gonna take that one back.
Take
That's
that.
feedback that you guys provided. Cause those are the developments that want the dog park so much, they don't have yards,
Yeah.
those kind of things,
Yeah.
so. And as we're building more diverse housing, that's gonna be more frequent, and then those people will want a dog park. And it'd be sad if we have to do it after the fact, when it could be just as easily part of that original.
It's a good idea.
Thank you, guys, you're
Yeah,
giving me
no.
so many ideas right now.
That's really good.
Good.
Should have been like a no-brainer a long time ago, really. It's like-
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, I think my cousin, he put a little fence in his apartment, like he chopped the fence so his dog could. I was like, that's brilliant, dude, that was really smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get this out. Everybody can take a look at the whole project list, maybe highlight a few that you really like.
Add more.
Add more,
Yeah.
yeah, please add more.
Yeah.
And we can make this, try to turn it into a living document, so I'll share it with everybody, so what I would suggest is that you look through the projects and maybe take your own notes on them. And then if you wanna add projects, just go in and, just put your name and write what you think would be a good project, and then we can kind of, you know, work around, talk around.
So do you like
See
a
where they
Google
go.
Doc and
Yep.
share it with all of us and we can.
Yep,
Okay.
it'll be a Word document, but I'll just share it.
Okay.
Share the link and have it editable for everybody. And then I'll share, or I'll keep another copy in case it goes all haywire with everybody. But, yeah, there's a lot on there.
There's a lot on there.
So is there anything on here that is, like, just a no? Or all these are still possibilities?
These are just thoughts that we've had in the past, or the whole board has had in the past. It's just kind of a running list of
Okay.
things that have been brought up.
There are definitely some that have more hurdles than others.
Okay.
Like
'Cause we have the-
recreation centers on there.
Yeah. The completion of the trail is another one that's got a lot of hurdles, but there are a lot of smaller projects. There's actually a lot on there that could probably be checked off.
Yeah,
Now that I've been looking at it, but then there's some that are kind of like ladder effects where we're waiting on the master plan before we do too much to the centennial. Certain things like that, but it's just something that we've made for the last 3-4 years. I mean, you were here when we started, right? So 3 years.
Yeah.
Is there a spirit in which we should be thinking about this, like, you know, is there a common goal of to get community together? Like we talked about with the tournaments and the skate park and.
That's what I like, that's what
There
I like
is.
to focus on, is like to get community, cause it would be awesome to just hang flyers in the condo and be like, we're building a fence for a dog park. Come
Yeah.
out with a shovel.
Right, so I mean, me wanting a rifle range outside of town, or like, not a heck, that wouldn't be, I mean, that's me, I want that, but to bring everybody together. I don't really want that, I'm just kidding, but.
it's like add to the list, it's a wish list.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get it. That's the thing. There are real no's. This is a wish list. This is us trying to tackle what's best for the community.
And then do we take that and go, okay, how do we you know, some things that you can do are recreational and can make money. I mean, we talked about tournaments, about, you know, bringing food trucks in and, you know, maybe charging or, you know, someplace to bring some more revenue in.
Mhm.
Are we looking, is it like identify the goal and then figure out how, or?
The
How is that
way
process?
I saw a deprived like of concrete that was just neglected and needed work.
Yeah.
And then that's how I went about it. And I think the disc golf guys they're now seeing that they need to improve their areas and do stuff like that, and they want to do that stuff. And I think the community stuff and the food trucks and all that stuff come after.
Okay.
I think once you have an attractive place and people involved, it just grows from there.
Do you have a contact with the Discmania guys?
Mhm.
Can you get that to me at some point?
Mhm.
I could talk to them, go over some ideas, cause I used to play a long time ago and there's
Right.
definitely things that could be done. Where that spot can actually be adaptive for tournaments and different hole locations that could be changed along the way, but it all has to be done at once, cause if we decide we're gonna put in trees. And we're gonna update the actual, I forget what they're called, but what the hole looks like.
Yeah, the whole location.
Yeah, then you would have to have multiple locations on that, you'd have to have all your trees mapped out on it, so it'd all be like one. Combined effort, or at least certain things at a time, but you wouldn't wanna put 3 hole locations out there and then be switching it around. When your whole map doesn't look the same, so. But I could see if maybe there's time that one of them could go over. Heck, I'll even play with them, I might not be any good, but go through the whole
That's
thing
the
and,
best
and
way to
Build
do
that,
it.
yeah.
but
build that
bring up
rapport.
the idea about moving that one hole with the dog park and seeing what their ideas are about. What they would like to see.
I mean, they came in, they talked about pulling from that whole park, right? Just get rid of all this stuff.
Potentially, yeah, they do
Using
love that
park
one
is-
hole, but yeah.
Yeah,
They mentioned about throwing over the baseball field,
yeah,
about
and like over
throwing,
the pond.
the
because
pond.
Especially once we do the dock
kids
and
are
everything.
fishing
yeah,
and-
parking lot.
Yeah.
They really would like to get one up here at WCP, but I don't think that's in the works until we get the addition to it.
And I think, if we wanna really invest the time into that project, I guess is what I'm saying, if the group decides that's good, then we'll bring them back in and kind of get their ideas and. Focus our energy on that if it goes up to the top list.
I would like them to focus their own energy.
I think they will, I just think they need to see some help.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
us.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
I
you're
think, like I
right.
said, give them a little bit,
Get
give
them
'em-
rolling, give them a
Yeah.
little bit to figure out how to do it stuff
Yeah.
and then see where they can grow it, cause.
and I think there's a lot that can be done in-house, because even the hole locations can be dug. Cause it's basically a galvanized, hole, and then you have a hole drilled through it with a lock. So somebody from the town, or they get a hold of somebody from the town, or rent the key, or whatever they wanna do, they can go unlock it,
Mhm.
move the basket, lock it back up. And then they can change the whole course for tournaments, and, I mean, even just periodically if they wanna change something out.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think if we even just gave them the effort of putting in the different hole locations. Maybe they start finding sponsors for the maps.
Yep.
Small things like that,
Yeah,
Sound
it'd be
like
a
they
ton-
had
yeah,
some sponsorship
that's the,
opportunities.
yeah,
they rolled in here with a pretty good presentation and they were
Yeah.
like 10 grand, this, and this, and I'm like. No, dude.
I think the big
Sorry.
aspect it would be a hard one is the additional trees and mature trees.
Mhm.
Just because the layout of it, to get a spade truck in there to actually plant a tree. And then the cost, and then you're still gonna do your tree mapping and asset tracking on trees. I don't know if that's really something you guys wanna try to accomplish before you get your asset management in place.
Right, and all that kind of goes hand in hand, the tree mapping is definitely
Yeah,
going, so.
I do wanna kind of address one of your questions, so quick. So I would, if I were you, I'd look at like the mission and vision of the board that they've decided on already, which recently just got revamped. So that's one thing I would review of like the core function and purpose of this group.
Mhm.
And then otherwise though, you're bringing the community, you're bringing in the voice, you're advising, right?
Okay.
So if you guys are prioritizing projects, right, saying this is what we've deemed the most important or what our community needs now. That is what's going to then take the attention and energy of the Parks and Rec Department to make considerations on those, and then essentially then that's where money goes too. So if for that, like, what are we doing and how, and if we pick something, does it happen for sure? Not necessarily, but it definitely gets on the top of the list of things to explore,
Okay.
find opportunities
Yeah.
for. So I hope that.
Okay, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
definitely identifying needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then prioritizing the needs and then assessing the impact that it makes overall.
Yeah, and viability in general too.
And some of the items on the wish list did come from community survey. I think at a park and play you guys did, you had a good survey with good response. So that's why the rec center is already on there. We know that's a need for the community. It's not in our wheelhouse right now, but it's something we want to keep there because
It
we
could
want to
be,
make
though.
sure it's still important. It could be.
There's feasibility.
Yeah.
Could be.
Okay, so I will resend out that everybody can look at and edit, as well as the mission and vision with that, so you guys can kind of dial in your ideas based around that.
Mhm.
Come with some good ideas, more ideas, always fun. We'll prioritize. Great. Okay, you wanna go down? We'll just look at the kind of the almost done calendar of events. We're trying to get this will be out before our spring season, which is kind of the start to our year is what we consider. So you guys were interested in the dates for like our park and plays, our special events for potential volunteering or combining efforts with certain things like skate park event and a park and play or something like that. Most of the dates in here are pretty set and secure for the things that you would want to see. A few things that wouldn't be in there quite yet because the town hasn't decided the dates that at least rec or potentially PROST would be involved in, or kind of our besides the 4th of July, our full town events like trick or treat down Main Street in Cleveland, the holiday parade, and
Those days are,
Easter.
they are for sure.
yeah,
Oh,
they were in the January newsletter.
never mind. They weren't when I had decided.
Holiday parade was super fun.
Oh, yeah. it
Yeah.
was. Thanks for that.
Mhm.
That'd have been useful information, yes.
Pull it up.
But I would really love to get this group to be a little bit more involved in planning out, whether we're at a booth or just, maybe we do a PROST float next year. And
Oh,
put
that
down
would be
our
so
own
cool.
like, I think that would be really good.
Super fun, yeah.
All those kind of things just to improve public engagement, because really that's what we're looking for, right? That's how we build that list, is to soak it all in, so. And we're gonna be, the more projects we want to take on, the more volunteers we're gonna need. We can always use volunteers within our department, so. All that kind of goes hand in hand with just improving everything that we're trying to provide, so. Go ahead and look that stuff. There we go. Oh, the 4th of July is on the 4th. I knew that one.
New Halloween was on Halloween.
Yeah, I guess the Halloween is on Halloween. It is always on Halloween. Just so it doesn't spring up on anybody. The only thing that isn't on there, and Lauren had mentioned it, and it's the one that's gonna come up, so we'll put it full on the agenda and we'll try to pick a date before then, is Arbor Day, because that kind of sprung up on us last year and I don't want that to happen,
Is that
so.
an April thing?
Mhm.
Easter egg hunt is also not on here, but that is scheduled for, I think, the 30th of March.
How did we like Arbor Day last year? I thought it was pretty cool.
I
It was
liked
super
it.
sick. I remember that.
It went really well, and it was really nice having Arbor. Arbor Valley donated some stuff, and so did Bartlett.
My tree's still alive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So are mine.
it's
That's
inside
awesome.
though. It's inside in the pot.
Mine's outside in a pot. Made it through the whole summer. I didn't water it once. I don't know why.
I'm sure that's what they.
I don't know how it happened.
What are you bragging about?
It was, it was great.
Good thing you're on the right side.
But it was a lot. I kept checking on it and I was like, oh, you're thriving. I guess we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Get it.
It's fine. I knew everything was fine. It's growing.
Oh, man.
Is
So,
downtown lights the parade?
Mhm.
Is that what that is? Okay.
I guess my challenge is definitely that let's get more involved in these kind of things. It definitely helps out town staff as well. If we have more volunteers, our overall pool for volunteers for events kind of goes up and down depending. It's been really hard to nail people down, so it'd be really nice to have, you know, at least a couple people from this board be invested into it, because we won't just, you know, not just giving back to the community, but we'll definitely be able to put some PROST and some Parks and Rec stuff that we already do with more engagement from you guys and enhance what we get out of it.
Could you maybe put a schedule together on when you would need volunteers? That would be.
Every single one of those dates.
I was just
Guaranteed
Volunteers
Caitlin
More like,
would be
cleanup day.
happy,
Okay.
what do you guys do?
just
No, I'm thinking that's when, okay, never mind.
town cleanup day is when
Yeah.
we
The
open up the dumpsters for
Yeah.
people to, within legal limits of what you can throw in the dumpster.
Right,
can
but that's an
use it.
individual house thing, right? I mean, or it's.
Yeah, but we
We need volunteers to like help
staff it.
move people around.
Oh.
Tell them,
Keep it in
like,
and
hey, by the way,
out.
you have
Oh, I gotcha.
batteries in your trash.
I just
can. You
didn't
can't
know
bring
that.
it.
Can't
Okay.
throw batteries, can't throw paint, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Just
Just extra people to help with that.
Separate,
And
and
then
then, you know,
afterwards, because people don't. always
Don't
take
the more
the
presence
trash.
we have there in any capacity just shows how much the town is putting into the
Into
efforts
the-
that we're
right.
providing for the
Makes
public,
sense,
so
okay.
if there's two
Pick a
town
couple dates
volunteers.
on. I'll pick a couple dates. I'll get on it. I'll get it.
Do we have electronic recycling as part of the cleanup, town cleanups?
I don't believe so.
That could be something. Also shredding. Now that we don't have the UPS store here, that's like
I'll shred it.
I know, but. it's-
Oh, that's what I'm
it's
saying,
gonna
like, we can
drop
call
off
shred it
like
and
a
have them
box.
come.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring their little truck.
Okay.
That's
I can
smart.
definitely pass those on to Caitlin.
Same in electronics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be,
I've
That's a
asked
tough
Larimer County Solid Waste to do more public engagement in Wellington, considering we're getting a new dump. So my recommendations for them were doing hazardous waste pickup days
Mhm.
and like some other
Yeah.
events like that, where people would come and potentially learn about our new landfill. But I think those would be good opportunities
Mhm.
too. Oh,
next, so this is, finalized marketing for our first ever adaptive program that we're gonna run a one night, night without limits, so it's basically, it's open to everybody in the public to sign up at Recreation. It's gonna be put on by a recreation, Parks and Recreation team, Wellington Public Library, and the Boys and Girls Club. It will be on February 2nd, which is a Friday evening. It will be kind of more geared towards a middle school, high school, but anybody wanting to join in can. There will be all sorts of different fun activities, including video games. We're gonna put up our axe throwing, if you've ever been to a park and play,
Mhm.
inside the Boys and Girls Club gym. Craft, there'll be a craft, video games, like I said, music, for music and dancing, as well as potentially doing like a photo booth, and then there'll be an opportunity for a sensory room, a quiet room, and it's kind of our first take on, again, I guess more of like kind in the pilot program, just an event to bring people together. It's gonna be a discovery for both the town coming into event and the people that want to participate, as well as our staff being able to provide what we can provide, and then getting a lot of feedback and understanding how really we can adapt some of what we do already and want to provide with what what is going to be receptive to the people that want to grow with our program. So there'll be a lot of information seeking and hopefully some good communication that evening, and we're looking forward to it. We really are. Should be fun. If anybody wants to come and volunteer, be involved in it,
Volunteer?
Absolutely.
Put it on the calendar.
great. We will probably start setting up at around 5:30, 5:45. I can send more information out about that, but just right down the street, 2 blocks up the Boys and Girls Club. It's gonna be awesome. Ross here at the library, and his team are working, they have, a group of individuals who are very excited about this, and he's kind of done the research on what they want to see up front. He got a new, PlayStation adaptive controller. It's
Mhm.
really sweet, so he's gonna bring the screen over so they can play games, maybe virtual reality, we're just gonna try to have fun. I like a little end of winter, beginning of spring social. Anything to add? You guys have been working on it too.
No.
Yeah.
That's good.
I love it.
It's a
This-
Friday.
And the marketing materials are beautiful too. Great job, thanks.
So,
Good job, Bryce.
if-
Yeah.
good job, Bryce. Yeah. Over seasonals. So that is open and live on our website. If you guys want to push that out anywhere, I can also, we're gonna put flyers here, Boys and Girls Club. We'll put them up at some of the local businesses and stuff, but if anybody wants a digital copy, I can also send that with all the stuff that I'll send out in the next few days with the wish list and stuff.
Yeah. send it
Are
out.
you put flyers at the schools?
Yeah.
Invite people, yep.
Okay.
Is there gonna be food?
We aren't.
Most likely not.
Most likely not. Let's go with that.
If there is, it'll be incidental because there'll just be snacks. We don't want anybody to rely on us for any sort of nutrition. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it
it'd be like, oh, hey, look, you showed up. You want a bag of chips?
yeah,
Yes. and stuff.
that works.
Yeah, all three of the involved parties are really excited about being able to provide, so it's a good little collaboration we've got going. The more the merrier to help out.
We'll be there. With bells on. That's how saying goes, right? Bells on.
Good job.
I'm not very good at those, I don't know.
I'll just show up.
Yeah, Jason.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
More or less.
Appreciate you, Robert. So we'll I just wanted to do a quick update on the WCP Memorial, other than what you guys have. to talk about
So yeah,
for
we
me.
went down to the American Legion. They have their meetings on same night as we do. So, the American Legion, like I said, we've done different stuff with the skate park and together and that, so I thought it'd be a good way to kind of get with them. Just an easier contact, because I know those guys pretty well now. And, so yeah, just talk to them about what we're trying to do, what we're doing with the Veterans Memorial. We did come across we talked about this last week, right, about the cannon. So we brought that to their attention and they were, what the hell, so definitely, we're gonna have to kind of figure out that one as far as if we're gonna do a town survey and stuff like that on that, or.
They
or
were
we're gonna
saying no.
approach it. No, they were for the cannon.
They're for sure.
Yeah,
But
They
one
basically-
gentleman did, he's gonna research to find out.
Where it came
Where
from?
it came from,
Yeah.
more about it, try to get some more history about it, so we got,
I could provide a little update with that.
okay.
Well, it originally came from what I got today from Washington's in Old Town Fort Collins. It used to be at the Washington's Bar. It was brought up
I think I remember.
now that you say it right.
Yeah,
Well, there's another thing that we've been trying to research, so we were looking to see like what it is exactly,
Uh-huh.
and we researched some of the stamp markings, and whether this means a lot or not, it might to some people, to me, it seems like it should, but pretty sure that it's a German make,
From World War.
Somebody-
World War One.
Oh, really? Didn't they call it something tonight? They said it was
The
a
Howitzer.
Hollister?
The
Yeah,
Howitzer.
a Hollister
That
cannon.
was
And they said it was definitely made in the US. Did
Okay,
they not say that? They said it was in.
they're gonna
There-
look at it.
Yeah, there's a gentleman there that has a contact with an artillery guy. so he's
Every
gonna take
marking we can
pictures.
find leads to German production.
They also said they're gonna look it up in a registry,
that would be
That would be
very
helpful.
helpful,
so
That-
that would answer the
that would be.
questions if that were the case.
because we're just trying to do our own research, and we kind of got
So apparently they have registries for this.
down
I
there.
wouldn't know that, but
Okay.
they did. so
Well,
that's
that would be
cool.
good if we
Yeah.
knew for sure,
Yeah.
because we just want to make sure what we're doing and what we're placing
Mhm.
is gonna be appropriate and
Yes.
received.
Yeah, it's definitely. should be-
Matches the intentions. so.
I struggle with like, when they talked about, you know, how you said like, a community survey as far as what they want, I guess I struggle with that a little bit because it being and like you said, John, having it a place that everybody can come and enjoy, right? Whether they're a veteran or not, but having like the community survey, I think it's good, but I think we have to really focus in and remember that this is like a military memorial, right? So,
I think John did go with the family, with the veterans, with the
It was
family-
mentioned at a previous meeting about
Family.
including veterans and family members of
family
veterans.
friends would be
Yeah,
like
so-
so as far as getting,
So if we
like,
did, if we did a survey and we sent it out, it would say, are you a veteran or a family member of
Oh,
veteran?
gotcha.
Yes or
Okay, so
no.
that
If you
would-
say yes, then you can kind of take the survey. If you say no, would you like to add any comments? And we can
oh,
read through
gotcha, okay,
comments,
so I
or
thought
can
we were
take the
doing more of
survey.
like, what is your opinion type of thing, and then I'm thinking, that's gonna get so messy, because,
Yeah.
but you're
Yeah,
separating that.
as far as the specific issue, we would want that from veterans, really from veterans or their family.
Okay,
If they want, if the public wants to comment on what they'd like to see, that's okay. We can read through those. Of course, that's kind of why we're here,
Right.
but for this specific issue, I think it needs to be done in specific.
I
okay.
volunteered last meeting to put that together and I've got a survey put together that I'll email.
Oh,
I mean, it's not anything super fancy, but same, is it, are you a military?
you said you did
Veteran
a
war
survey,
family.
that's amazing.
Right, yeah.
That's
You know, have you ever visited a memorial park? Do you think a retired military cannon should be used in a memorial park? If yes, how would you feel? This is interesting about the sound of a cannon. I don't know if that's, I mean, I know it's not an active cannon, but things like I would be proud or sad or indifferent. What are your reasons for not wanting a military cannon? So, and then any other considerations.
That's
So
cool.
it can be edited. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
use it for stuff.
Send that out, and we'll,
Yeah. that's
we
awesome.
can push it out
Yeah.
through our channels if that's the way we decide to go with
Yeah.
the survey.
And then I asked them to think about contractors, you know, as we move forward, as far as we want to try to keep it as veteran based as possible.
Mhm.
So work on, you know, trying to get, you know, if we do go out to bid or how we work at the, you know, try to focus on veteran contractors or businesses, owners, stuff like that. And then, what else was I saying? Oh, and then the fundraising, just kind of like if they had places they could recommend for us to go after, or if they want to kind of collaborate together to do events together or something like that. So just kind of more just got their brains. Hopefully.
That's
their
where it
brains
starts, right?
thinking,
Yeah.
Cause they
Also
did have a
talk-
few questions and what, you know, answers
Yeah.
for a couple of these
Yeah.
things yet. Sorry,
Plant those
guys.
seeds. That's good.
Yeah.
But they also talked about, or John, you did, or something as far as like doing it in stages. One guy was happy to hear that maybe we could do it in stages, get initial funding and put like what'd you say, like the
The
center?
flags, the branches flags and the US flag to start,
Yeah,
and then work on starting to get funding for benches and sitting
Right.
areas and
and
flower
adding,
beds.
adding stuff as time goes
Yeah.
on, where funding and financing becomes available or whatever, which they seem pretty excited about.
Yeah,
Or
they
seem pretty on board
They seem
about.
like realistic, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
with the project.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, you know, the grassroots feel, you know,
Yeah,
build
It
the
did bring a-
platform and continue to expand on it.
A good
It's
question
an
if we
overall
were,
vision.
it was just gonna be a general memorial, if we were gonna focus on one war.
yeah. that's a
Um,
good question.
Oh, yeah, that's right, they did.
That
ask
was a good question, but I think that's kind of something that we don't really have to figure out right away, especially with doing it in pieces. I would personally like to see it just being a general memorial. I don't think we're a large enough town to have multiple. So I think us focusing on just a general memorial would be great for now, but
Yeah, I think so. And then like if we.
I would think so.
Was that? Yeah, I would think so. And then I guess if we. Would Teresa might have brought up on having smaller one, like. Smaller ones, and we
Right.
could do, you know. Hire a park and get the Navy one, you know, we kind of.
Oh, that's cool.
So like we could do it maybe like kind of more specific like that, you know, I just put that together. I don't know if that's good or not, but.
No, solid.
So, you know, we could do, you know, smaller little, you know, more general, you know, well, maybe one and Marines.
Yeah, I think if that's the centerpiece one, and
Yeah,
more of a generalized
Yeah,
one,
maybe
is
you can-
with all the branches.
you
and
could throw the
everything.
other, or other parks and have smaller. More general, you know, specific memorial.
Like if somebody couldn't make it to the big one or whatever, they wanted to go sit at a park and maybe have a moment or whatever.
Yeah.
To have something little at some of the parks around town.
Yeah, and we
Be kinda
do
cool.
have we can expand on it, like a memorial bench
Mm-hmm.
program.
Mm.
And we could make one specific, or someone could easily come in and want to do something specific for a
Yeah,
veteran
Yeah,
that they're wanting to.
Yeah.
Remember,
has that gone anywhere? Have we done any benches in a
the
while?
last one we did was in Centennial Park.
Okay, so it's nothing's really gone with that one.
Yeah,
But we, like, that one was new since the first one we had.
Oh, okay.
So,
So-
yeah, since we finished the memorial program, there's been one thing.
Okay,
I sat down with, Nick David,
for David.
or David, I always say
Yeah.
David, or David.
Yeah.
At Meridian Trust yesterday, and just
Yeah.
kind of proposed the idea of the memorial at WCP to him. He's been interested since he heard about it at a trustee meeting, and then, or actually, he learned about it at Budget Bonanza.
Bonanza.
And then he had asked, I think, you a little bit about it,
Mhm.
and then, so anyways, we got together yesterday and chatted about it, and he's very interested in it. They have their board that does certain funding for projects, as well as they have a foundation that is specific, the Flags for Heroes, which is the Meridian Star Foundation. So he doesn't know if it fits, where it fits, but he's definitely gonna take the information to the people that that kind of would steer him and whether or not he could come here and hopefully help us out. But they're very interested. They want to be somehow involved in it. And I said, even if it's, they do the Flags for Heroes. So if we're doing some fundraising around the same time, how we could partner, because they do fundraising for that. So like just a community thing. And they're very invested in being involved in community projects. So we'll see where that goes, but
Yeah.
he's very receptive, awesome person. So just one of those, another seed planted. Hopefully we get some growth out of that.
Yay. Meridian's awesome. They love the planning community, so. Yay.
Good things. Yeah, I think as far as that project, it would be great if we could find someone to really, a couple people to nail down for doing the engineering for it, and getting a price on what they think it would cost for us to pay for them to give us the drawings, because that's really gonna lead us to how much the project's gonna cost.
do we have any kind of leads on that at all?
Just the original one that Laurelyn had brought in, and that's where the kind of the canon discussion started.
Okay,
I think it would be, definitely behoove us to look at multiple different ones. Said before, we would love to do a veteran-owned company. And
Mhm.
pay them to do it. If we can't find someone in a feasible time, then we can then look to see if someone, because of the project and our vision on the project, would do it. I won't ask pro bono, but at a reduced cost, just to kind of donate back. But we definitely would want to pay the.
do we, would that be our startup costs?
As far as,
Getting in that part going, like,
yeah, I think engineering on that would probably be the first cost that we incur.
Do we have funding for that?
Well, that could be hopefully some of the funding that we have. I don't know how much it's gonna cost. I don't know how much an engineer is gonna charge us for that. So that's why we need to see who's interested in even doing it.
Okay.
Did
Get,
that come
like,
up in the
quotes or
meeting
something?
tonight? Did you guys ask if there are any?
Robert,
options?
I
Yeah.
reached out to him a few months ago and I didn't get a response back, but I'll try one more time. After tonight, just be like, I was gonna just I should type up an email, just kind of recapping what we talked about, so they could have some kind of, notes going forward, which I probably should have done beforehand, but Christmas.
I met somebody at a fundraiser who I kind of proposed the idea of doing it. They're not veterans. They were interested. I was holding off because I was thinking we found someone that was a veteran who was gonna do it. So I'm gonna reach out to them.
Yeah, please see it.
Just, it was more in the spirit of giving rather than specifically for veterans. So, but he seemed interested, so.
So you're looking for more like a landscape architect, not a civil engineer necessarily. I mean, being on park property, do we need a civil drawing? We don't need a stamp drawing, do we?
I think probably want to reach that way, but
Eventually,
we're going to need one eventually.
At this point, we need enough to know how much things cost to fundraise.
Right,
Like,
so-
so we're, I
So
think,
like
don't
a
know.
perspective drawing of what the park's gonna look like. Or the memorial's gonna look like, but not necessarily down to the detail of. I mean, if it's not a roof over your head, or why would we need a stamp or a civil, why would we need somebody that has a certification to?
I think,
I mean, it would be the same as the skate park. You know, I mean, as far as, you're not getting civil drawings on that, right? So. What would the difference be? I mean, it's not a life safety thing.
I guess we'll have to maybe take that a little further.
That would, I'm calling the planning commission, I mean.
I think the purpose at this point is just for costing,
Mhm.
so.
Trying to get cost projections so that we can start
Right, so-
fundraising.
But I don't know.
However, yeah.
I mean, if we approach landscape or architects, or we,
Right,
Yeah.
which are probably gonna be less on a civil engineer,
Right.
they're paying for their certification.
right. So
Right.
just like a preliminary drawing, is that what you're talking about? And,
Just-
and like cost
Yeah.
Yeah.
projections, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
No.
not sure.
maybe that's something.
Who'd you read? Was it a civil? that you
He's an
spoke-
architect, the guy
Okay.
I was working with. But he says that he's done, memorials, outdoor. memorials.
I think we just need to look at meeting code to make sure.
Yeah,
But I would assume we're gonna need it, cause I think for all flags, all like the signs that we're putting in, those had to be stamped.
Oh,
All
really?
those signs, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that we're going to, because when we have the original, CAD drawing, one of the engineers for the town just did it, just to help out and just give a very, very basic of what we're looking for.
Mhm.
But that's not gonna really generate, it doesn't have any detail, so it's not,
Sure.
that can't really generate what we're gonna incur for cost or look for cost, but
Okay.
I would say we're gonna probably need to plan on having it saved.
Would it be worth our time to, like, we talked about visiting the other memorials, but maybe, I don't know, I'd be willing, or I would offer time to call like Greeley or Fort Collins, find out where and how they got that done.
Yeah.
And then get some information or maybe some leads that way. I'll try and do that.
Yeah, and I'll wait to hear back. I reached out to the Northern, I think it's called the Northern Colorado Veterans Memorial. Cause that's, their picture is of the Vet Plaza at Springs Canyon Community Park on their website. Let's just email them back again today.
Somebody was just asking about, oh, that was what you were asking.
If I don't hear back from them within the next few days, cause this will be the second time I've emailed them, I'll. Maybe someone at Fort Collins or Greeley has a better direct contact to them.
Okay,
But
so
you
wait
know,
to hear from you.
yeah, their
before I do
website
it.
just has the email
Okay,
to reach out, like info at. But if you wanna make calls.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
okay.
please do, I should say. The more we start reaching out now, the better. I mean, anybody that wants to just garner information on. Local memorials, how they were built. You know, where funding came from, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I'll do that.
Excellent. All right. Future calendar. Anything that anybody wants to add now, or if you guys want to just look at it and add stuff, I mean, I'll fill in. As always, we'll put in the updates on WCP. Next week we'll do or next month we'll do the projects. We'll go over the projects at the wish list. It'll either be February or March, so I spoke with Cody about coming in and talking about trails.
Mhm.
For right now, he said that either next month or the following month would be better. So he and I are gonna sit down and really have good information to present to you guys right now. He said, if you just came in and wasn't ready for it, it might not be as purposeful, but he did say in the next few weeks, we'll have a meeting and figure out whether it's the February or the March meeting. I think it actually brings some good stuff.
Could I make a recommendation that we change the date for the March meeting? Cause it's over spring break.
I thought you were gonna say Valentine's Day.
Oh, I don't have any plans for that. But I made a recommendation, that I change about. Good by that time,
It is on Valentine's Day the next February, isn't it?
yeah.
wanna change that one? I'm gonna change that one. Come
We
on.
got the newlywed in here.
I
yeah.
know, I'm celebrating like 2 weeks before, so I'll be good.
Maybe a week
Taking her
later,
steamboat.
we're both on
You should.
potentially.
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone.
You're gonna
Yeah.
For both of February. and
I've already
March.
been-
I'll
I've
be
been
gone,
divorced
I'm
twice.
sorry.
Right.
I don't take love advice from me.
Possibly, I'll be traveling, so I won't be able to do, if you change, if you keep the February date, March, I could probably, I can zoom in March.
Do we wanna change the day or should we just push them both back a week and still do Wednesday? Thoughts?
I think pushing back a week is a good idea.
Keep in mind.
Push it back a week.
For both or just.
Uh,
Oh,
February,
Think about it.
because that gets us out of spring break and off of Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Make it easier.
Then just in case there's no conflict.
That's it, right?
you can go back and be like, I asked them to change,
That's it.
There you go.
make sure.
There's no excuses
That's
for
available
Valentine's
for-
Day now, make it happen.
Well, we're kind of waffling until
Yeah.
Jordan's like, ooh, guys.
I gotta do something.
I'm saving a lot of men in this. We'll just say that.
Too funny.
That's good.
But
Nice job.
this has been shared. It's a living document, so if you want to see something, please add to it. Just throw it up there. Agenda, or if you want me to research something that I can put on the agenda, please do that,
New public services, huh, in March,
potentially.
cool. Yay.
They want to be involved, so.
I love it.
Oh, I sat down with Kim and we chatted, so she wants to come in and chat with this group. All right, so on to announcements. Honestly, on the park side, it's really just small projects clean up here and there. We've got a winter project list that we just went through, so they'll be starting on a lot of things that will involve painting, facilities, siding on certain shelters, kind of getting everything tidied up when we have the time before the growing season starts. The tree inventory that we had contracted out is done, mulling over whether or not we need them to come in and do some winter watering, so I'm possibly gonna contract them on certain trees around town to do some winter watering, since our capacity to do large scale winter watering is minimal. Probably wouldn't really consider it because the newer trees that we put in, we can do, but since it's been so dry, we really want to get some deep rooted water. So when we do get moisture, we get good ground percolation rather than runoff. No, anything from recreation that you want to talk about other than the events we've started?
You got Emma?
Yeah.
Yay.
But-
Yeah,
Planning phase, we're, I'm sure Laurelyn will always ask, cause she does, we have the full rec calendar that should be going out very soon, like I mentioned, but we're also looking at digital options for putting the amenities map in, so we've got a couple, one strong, but a couple websites that where we could partner with to host that if we need to, so we're really trying to push forward on that and get that set in place before people are out and about in the spring.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Any updates?
I went to the Kiwanis meeting last week to talk about the bike fix station. Unfortunately, only 5 members showed up instead of their normal. It was kind of last minute because it was on the 2nd. They didn't get an agenda out, so not everybody knew there was a meeting. So I presented them with the information. I offered to return next meeting if they have more members show up. They mentioned about doing some fundraising because I guess they did a project where they got some, and I just don't quote me on this. If I remember right, they got matching funds from their district. But it was a project that was done at Rice and it hasn't been put into use yet.
Mm.
So they're getting a little pushback from their district about, or they're not gonna ask for more funding until that project gets going.
Mm.
And I don't know exactly what the project was, but it just really hasn't got moving yet, so. We'll see if next meeting they want me to show up again and, how that goes, but until then, they're gonna talk amongst themselves and I'll get a hold of, Melanie before too long. And see if she wants me to return for the next meeting or what they maybe decided.
Trustee updates?
A huge win, I think that happened last night, and this is pretty nerdy of me, but I think it's important and it's important for this group. So, a development, replat, final plat was approved last night, after a public hearing. And this is on the east side. It's actually very close to Wellville. But the reason why this is spectacular in my mind is it's because it's the first development that was approved where they're abiding by our new landscape guidelines. So they're using native grasses, they're reducing just irrigation costs for homeowners and those kind of things. They're going to be doing front yards, all xeriscapes throughout the entire neighborhood, and it's built into their HOA covenants. But that also includes a new pocket park. They're doing some trails as well within that development. And it's kind of like, in my mind, the future of Wellington being a little bit more considerate, both for affordability and for outdoor needs and open spaces for residents. So I thought that was a big win. I wanted to share that with you guys. And those same kind of principles are moving forward with other development plans currently. And it's of course reducing the use of water and costs for residents. So that's fantastic in my mind. So that was one of the things that I wanted to update you guys on. This is called Saddleback, again, on the east side near Wellville.
They came in here and presented. to
Oh, yeah,
this
they did.
group.
They came here and they
Yeah.
talked to you guys. I've seen them many times since I keep forgetting, but they did come in here and talked and showed you their park plans and how they changed the park to be within the development rather than the outskirts of it. But it's all really exciting things that are happening, and they took feedback from this meeting, now that you said that, and they actually included that in the presentation to the trustees.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And then they changed some of their final plat plans in advance of this final one that was approved last night. And a lot of consideration was taken for those two things too. So very excited on many levels. It's something that Wellington needs for impact costs, and every house that goes pays fees towards different things and services in the community, including parks. So that's a good investment there in my mind. So that was another thing with the same developer that came before us is essentially he asked for, we talked about this before in these meetings too, so I want to give you the feedback, but the tract of land that goes along the railroad and our trail that was currently not part of the division, the development that they were working on. They actually this developer purchased that lot with the intention of doing a potential swap for the open space dedication as part of that development, of actually making it more central to the entire town and usable to the town. So they purchased property with the intention of doing that land swap. This has not been approved from a final the annexation or any of the land development perspective as of yet, but he did come to the meeting and say, hey, is this something I should continue pursuing? We're doing soil samples, we're doing all these kind of things. Should I continue investing in this? This is something that the board is still interested in doing. So they're proceeding with that. Again, like that's not approved and done, but I want you to know that that developer has purchased that land that you guys actually designated. This is a great recreational opportunity along our trail. And so that developer is pursuing that option. So
That's Jefferson, right? Off of Jefferson, yeah.
I'm really bad at the president name
That's okay,
ones,
no.
which is funny because I live on the Harrison. So, but yeah, okay. And then third thing, or is there any questions or anything I could look into further for you guys on that? these are all really cool things in my mind for this group. So the third thing is, and I know this is suddenly a board that is full, but it's worth it for me to mention because this is the most dedicated advisory group I've been part of with the town of Wellington. And every member is amazing and participates and cares about our town. But the Board of Trustees will have elections in April. If you're interested in serving in a different capacity within the Board of Trustees.
No, I've already done it. No.
I know, I was like.
I don't have the time right
might be interested again, I don't know.
Maybe in the
That-
future.
Okay, that, those elections are approaching in April. Meaning, it is a state statutory requirement, you have to do petitions and everything in order to run. Those deadlines are approaching, so if this is something that you're considering, or you know someone who would serve the town of Wellington well, as I trust all of you, because you're amazing advisory board committee members, board members. Please have them look at the website, there's a comprehensive guide on how to run, what to do, what it means, what's the time commitment, how much do you get paid, $100 a month. So if I answer that question for you, but if you have any of those kind of questions or anybody's interested, please have them go. Deadlines for petitions are, I think, the 22nd to have them returned. So it's coming close. And I'd love to see this group that loves Wellington so much. So I feel like this is a good group to disseminate that information. But feel free to do the same if you know anybody interested. That's all I have. Anything you guys want me to take back to the board? Other than my general. Okay, I have other development plan ideas. So I want to take to, oh, could he be here next time? Maybe we can bring that to him or the planning commission. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Can't believe you even considered me even to be on the board of trustees. I'm just still trying to like wrap that around. I'm like sitting on those chairs and Jeff's. It's pretty.
I mean, if I find other people want to do it, then
I kind of got here in the same position way. Only once.
All right, any other updates?
I know Bob VFW already got to you guys with the American Legion, where we talked about that one, so that's pretty much it for my end.
Meeting adjourned.
Yay.
Good job, John.
Thank you guys.